Simply Scuba presents the Deco Stop podcast. Hi guys, welcome to Deco Stop from Simply Scuba, and this is the first one in our brand new booth where you can actually see us because there's a camera in the tiny little room with us.
Hey.
So this, for me, it's kind of ruining the illusion because you can now see us and I have to kind of like look good. But yeah, this is what it looks like when we're recording our podcasts and we're not on the black couch anymore. So this is Deep Stop. This is the scuba diving podcast where we talk about all things scuba diving, and we kind of react to your comments, but we also talk about scuba diving stuff, obviously. Today's sponsor is Obsequio. We will talk about them a little bit later. They're a really good company. It's worth Googling them if you can sort of work out how to spell their name. Today's topic is the best scuba diving setup for you? ? We're just really talking about sort of different scuba diving setups. Lots of positive feedback about our new style of product reviews. So when I'm talking, one of the main reasons for our YouTube channel was to have product videos, because when you're buying like scuba diving equipment, especially online, if you just get given like a single photograph of the item and then just like 3 paragraphs of text, which is boring to read, we thought, well, maybe it would be better so that people can make a more informed decision if there's someone actually, holding the thing and like showing it how it works.
Always nice.
And we mixed it up. People kept complaining that I wasn't like mentioning the bad points, because I'm a salesperson. So we're like, oh, okay, fine. I'll be a little bit more honest and sort of say who it's more designed for. And this year for 2020, we completely changed the whole structure of it. Usually Shaun would just like throw an SMB in front of me and just go, talk monkey talk, and I'd just do a product video. But now we kind of split it up into, I do like a 60-second review that just goes live on Instagram, and then I do a more in-depth sort of review and show you exactly what you get inside of the box, and then I do another sort of section to it where I say, oh, okay, well, it's good for this type of diver, but it's not so good for this type of diver. And also we're opening it up to brands that we don't stock.
So plasma screen TVs and PlayStation 4s.
PlayStation 5, come on. No, we've already received one. It's basically if you make scuba diving equipment, or if you're looking at diving equipment and you want to see a video review on it done properly, just kind of pester the brand, or if you are the brand, just send us a sample of whatever it is, and we'll do a sort of product review on it.
If you can't get it done properly, give it to us and we'll do it.
Exactly. Yes.
So what's the news?
So what have we got? So Depth Therapy and Raid perform a new adaptive teaching. Raid, if you don't know, they're like just a new-ish training agency, a bit like Paddy or Nowie or SSI. They're just a new one. Yeah. They tend to focus a bit more on the rebreather side of diving, to the point where I think R in Raid actually stands for rebreather. Yeah. But I've done a couple of their courses myself, and they're not easy. They're very, very good because they're nice and interactive, but they're not easy. They really make sure you know your stuff. Depth Therapy, they work with sort of people with disabilities and using scuba diving to get them back in the water. And cool. Now they're using this new sort of adaptive teaching, where it's basically teaching instructors how to sort of manage different disabilities, how to get the most out and sort of do it safely.
Oh, that's good.
Clive Cussler has died. Bless him. Clive Cussler, if you don't know, he was an author. He wrote sort of lots and lots of books, and he actually. So if you've seen it, it's the Matthew McConaughey film Sahara. That was based on sort of one of his main characters, Dirk something, I can't remember.
Dirk Diggler.
And so they worked for a fictional company called Newman. the National Underwater something, where they like recovered things from like under the ocean. And then Clive Cussler, the author, actually created a real company called Newman, who search for underwater treasures and stuff. So,
Nice.
yeah, and he sadly passed. But yeah, of course, we got all of his books and sort of everything. And I think his son sort of helped write quite a few of his like latest books. So I think he's going to sort of take up his mantle.
Yeah, I got given a stack of his books, so they're not bad, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Right, so 50 Feet Below, we're back after a year out.
Yeah. So 50 Feet Below, they're another YouTube sort of channel where they do, again, like sort of product reviews and sort of talking about scuba diving. They've been a little bit quiet for a little while now, so we like to keep our eyes on sort of everyone else and sort of recommend other YouTube channels that are good for scuba diving because it's good for the industry.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, they started to sort of upload some new videos, so check them out.
Yeah, and the news is just getting better this morning. So a couple of weeks ago, we had the thing about Canada and the whales and not keeping them in captivity. And now we've got Canada proposing as a site of captivity for whale sanctuaries.
Okay.
It's lovely.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Canada. Canadian waters.
Canada.
Yeah, go Canada.
Yeah. Go Canada.
You can dive the Mariana Trench. Well, you can dive in a submersible to the
Yeah, I was gonna
Mariana
say.
Trench.
Yeah, that's a long safety stop.
Yeah, I mean, they say it's 4 hours down,
Yep.
4 hours on the bottom, and then 4 hours coming back up.
Nice.
It'll cost you $750,000, and you have to work on the boat
Okay.
to like keep things shipshape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like, we need some new like ships, mate. So I'm like, screw it, let's make them pay for it.
Let's charge them.
But
That's cool though.
But yeah, I think there's like three positions open, and if you are one of those three, you go down in June, and you're one of the 15 people in history to ever go to that depth.
That's very cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Don't forget to talk about the false bottom.
Oh yeah, Shaun has been watching the Meg, and he believes that there's a false bottom.
Oh god.
So yeah, if you go down too deep, you'll just release the Meg.
You're not allowed to watch anything over a 12 now.
But it doesn't make sense. Why would it have eyes if it lives underneath at the bottom where there's like no eye?
That's not Hollywood. Come on. Right. So what's the next one?
Survival Take to Sell. I'll be honest, I haven't read that one.
Me neither.
Okay. Any other stories you found? It says here's the last bullet point. Someone broke the Guinness World Record for the longest underwater walk on a single breath.
Nice.
So this guy, Boris, I've forgotten his last name. He did it in Croatia. He walked, I think it was like 328 feet.
Boris the Limp.
On a single breath of air. But the thing is that it's like power walking. So if you remember that Malcolm in the Middle episode where his dad takes up power walking, there has to be 1 foot on the ground at all times.
Oh, okay.
And he had to do it in a swimming pool, which of course wasn't 320-something feet long. So he had to walk, stop, turn around, and then go back on himself. He did it in 3.5 minutes on a single breath. Just like walking, like sort of slow and steady, and yeah, he beat the previous record by like 66 feet.
Wow, pretty cool. We could do that. No,
Just give me some time.
Yeah, gives a few years. Yeah, no worries.
And then that's it, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything else groundbreaking that I can think of.
Okay.
New in store in sort of Simply Scuba, because obviously we sell a lot of dive equipment. New batch of Cressy products have just dropped. So we placed a large order for sort of the new Cressy 2020 range. Quite a few bits have already arrived. There's still more to come. They're not live on the website yet because we don't want to get your hopes up too much. But yeah, as they arrive, they'll start to sort of show up on the website.
I'll book them in as quick as I can.
Yeah, bip. We've also updated our affiliate page. So if you have a scuba diving blog, you can actually start earning commission on sales. So if you're listening to this and you want to make some money, then so you can sort of sign up to become an affiliate with Simply Scuba, and then you basically get sort of paid for clicks, really.
Nice.
If you put sort of links through from your blog to us, then you can start earning some money.
Sounds like fun.
To find out more about this, just click on the link pinned in the YouTube video. Head over to YouTube or head over to simplyscuba.com and just sort of search for affiliate. And there'll be a whole sign-up page, and you go through it all. And you can start earning some moolah.
Cool.
If you're looking for a piece of kit but want to get up close and personal with it, then you should come down and visit our store based in Faversham, Kent. A lot of people, they don't realise that we actually have a physical store location. Most of the building is sort of just studio and warehouse and office, but we do actually have a retail outlet downstairs where we sell everything from hiking equipment and sort of fancy ladies beachwear to technical scuba diving stuff. So if you want to sort of get a tangible feel and actually sort of try something on, then head over to our store in Faversham, and you can do that, and Greg can actually sort of help us out, sort of help you out, because you're helping out in the shop a little bit. Outside of your usual duties.
That's it.
You're helping out downstairs, sort of showing people what's what. And sort of saying, that suits you, sir.
Yes,
that matches the colour of your eyes.
Exactly. Let's get that. Yeah, definitely.
But also, we're starting up a new thing. We want to know, because a lot of people buy stuff from us, but we don't really hear about sort of how your adventures go. So we actually want to sort of see you guys using it a bit more, get a bit more interaction on the sort of social media. So using the hashtag simplyscuba, obviously, we basically want you to sort of take some selfies of you either in the water or just sort of in your dive kit, and upload that to Instagram. Use the hashtag simplyscuba, and we'll start sort of posting you around on our own social media so you can become famous. If we sort of like the post, we'll sort of repost it and all that kind of stuff. Was that you, Shaun?
That was me. Tag the picture.
Yeah, I said tag the picture. Yeah. Oh, this new director.
Oh, he's a monster.
Other than that, I think that's about it. Yep. Again, sort of March, February time is kind of the quiet time. All the sort of exciting stuff has already sort of dropped around the sort of Christmas sort of early. But now that we're getting up to the actual dive season of the year, the sort of April, May time, people are starting to dig all their stuff out from their closets and going, oh, this needs servicing, or oh, that needs replacing.
Yes.
If you haven't already, then sort of go through your dive closet and have a look at your stuff.
Come get a new dry suit off us.
Yeah, come by. Yeah, we've got a few.
Right, so what's the topic for this week? What's the best setup for your diving?
Yes.
And are there specific setups for certain dives, such as cave diving, recreational diving, twin sets, and side mounts?
Yes.
No, there are. There are a few. Yeah.
The thing is there's so many different configurations, and I'm always going to look at this through like DIR tinted lenses. I always think like one specific setup is going to be sort of best. Yeah. So there's 4 types of scuba diving. You either have, I usually do it by a certain number of tanks. You either have single tanks, twin tanks, which are sort of manifolding on your back. Then you get side mount, and then you have rebreathers. There are a few different types of rebreathers, but they're just their own category. Yeah. For single cylinders, it's pretty simple. You just get a BCD or a backplate and wing. It's then... you kind of pick and choose whether you're just going to be like recreational. If you're diving at home, then get something fairly tough, something with a decent sort of denier count, sort of 4 figures, like 1,000 cordura, and that'll be good for sort of diving at home because it's not going to wear out. If you're only traveling, then that kind of drops down to the sort of the 420s, and below it's a thinner material, so it's a lot lighter, but it's a bit more fragile. So if you're planning to be sort of cramming in and out of shipwrecks, you have to be a bit more careful because it's a bit more likely to rip. But then if you want to head more down the twin set routes, then I'd kind of leave the recreational BCDs behind and go more for backplate harness and wings. We've said this many, many times.
Yes,
on the
yes,
podcast.
yes. We're about 5 minutes away from talking about X-Deep and first stages. We are.
Yeah, let me set my watch.
It goes down.
So backplate harnesses and wings. So then you can sort of customize, and that's what's best for sort of twin sets, because recreational rings they work really well for single cylinders. But as soon as you try and bolt a pair of twins onto them, they're a bit soft. Yeah. So a heavy 2-tank setup is just going to like move around on your back, and it feels a bit weird. Yeah. Whereas with a backplate, they're just bolted onto it, so they're really, really strong and secure. But also the sort of buoyancy characteristics are different from a recreational wing to a sort of backplate and harness wing. So if you're diving on twins, then definitely backplates and harnesses.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more comfy.
And then you get side mounts, which is like its own animal. It's a very specialist. So if you want to go into side mounts, which is good, it has lots of benefits. It's very, very flexible. I mean, if you've got a bad back, you can literally throw your tank in the water attached onto a piece of rope so it doesn't disappear. And you can then like leisurely climb down the ladder fully kitted up. You're then in the water, so you're not having to like carry that heavy tank on your back. You then clip it on whilst you're in the water, and then at the end of the dive, you just unclip your tank and then clip that onto a rope, and then someone else magically lifts that out of the water whilst you just leisurely climb out. So it's a very civilized way of diving. It's more designed for cave diving because they need that flexibility to fit through sort of confinements and sort of leave like drop tanks and whatnot. But it's a very civilized way of diving.
Sounds lovely.
It's not so great with cold water because I've tried it, and with big clunky gloves, you've got a lot of bolt snaps,
right?
And it's not the easiest. So I just prefer twins on my back, unless I'm doing something particularly narrow. But then on to rebreathers, but rebreathers just tend to be backplate and harnesses, or their own kind of system. But then sort of regulators. I mean, how do you dive regulators? I presume it's regs on the right, everything else on the left.
Yeah, pretty
much. So most people straight off the shelves, they'll get a sort of recreational regulator setup, which is your primary, the kind of the black second stage. That's on like a 75 centimeter hose, and then your octo, the bright yellow one, sits on your right hand hip on like a 90 centimeter hose, and then everything else is on the left. I recommend getting double gauges at least, so you have a redundant backup, because, okay, you might have an air integrated dive computer, but if the battery runs out, you lose your depth, you lose your air time remaining and all that. So it's nice to have an analog backup at least. Definitely. And then just any low pressure inflator hoses that you need for any dry suits or BCDs. Personally, I opt for more of a sort of GUE, a DIR type setup with if I'm on a single tank, it's like a 1.5 meter long hose that loops down my back. It then sort of goes underneath sort of either a battery or my dive knife, which sits on my hip, and then that comes up over behind my neck, and then that sits in my mouth. So that's my primary. Yeah. My octo then sits in like a 75 centimeter hose, and that just sits in a necklace around my neck. So that way, if my buddy's in trouble, I can literally take the one that I know is working straight out of my mouth and just pass that straight to him. Yeah. He's then got 1.5 meters to panic and do whatever he wants to do. And for me, I've got my alternate right there. Yeah. So I've got big breath of air. Yeah. So I can hold that for a bit. I can test my octo. If that's not working, I can take my primary back and we can buddy breathe for a bit if we have to. On twins, I usually extend that to 2.1 meter long hose, so you have plenty of space. But the reason why it's 2.1 meters long is if you're swimming in a confinement where you have to be single file, because if you have an out-of-air emergency whilst you're in a shipwreck or any kind of confinement,
You've still got to get out single file, yeah.
how do you...
Yeah.
How do you... So you either have to do it like facing one another, one of you swimming backwards. So with that, you
Lock
can...
my eyes.
Yeah, yeah, you can literally pass it, and it's like an entire body length. So, yeah, they can either be behind you breathing, you just don't swim too fast, you yank it out their mouth, or you pass it forwards and they swim first.
Yeah.
So yeah, I prefer sort of long hose primary donate. Yeah, twin set with hose configuration. There's lots of different ways. I do a sort of crisscross method. You basically want complete redundancy on both sides in case one fails. So I have a regulator on each side, one on my left cylinder, one on my right cylinder. I have an inflator hose on each side, one for my dry suit, one for my BCD, and then I just have a single SPG, a pressure gauge on my left-hand hip. So that way, if I do have to switch off one valve for whatever reason, I can still breathe, I can still control my buoyancy, and if I do have to switch off my my left turret, then, okay, granted, I know roughly how much gas I had left, and then you're going to be ending the dive anyway.
Yes.
So you're going to get out.
It's all over at that
That's
point.
it.
Yeah. Right.
Stage tanks, kind of much the same. I just tend to have a 6-inch sort of high-pressure hose with an SPG. I do it in a lollipop style where it's sticking out. I know a lot of people are the opposite. They like it a bit sort of neater, or they like bend that hose, which I just hate.
Yeah.
Fairly long hose. Again, just so that you can donate it, but also if you're breathing from it, it's enough to go around your neck and then sort of into your mouth. I usually put sort of elbows on my second stages. Not all of them, but it's normally my sort of longer hoses. I'll put a 90 degree or even a 120 degree elbow on it, just so that the hose doesn't come like straight out.
Yeah.
And then you get this like huge sort of bit of slack around you. That way, it just sort of roots neatly behind your your head. I know it adds an extra failure point, but bit more comfort.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We can talk for setups for hours because there's so many different sort of aspects of scuba diving, and yeah, I mean my sort of wreck diving sort of setup will probably be a little bit different from just my open water setup. It'll be a bit more sort of neat and trim. Different people will do it slightly differently. Usually like team divers like to do it very much the same, so that if something goes wrong and someone's unconscious for whatever reason, you don't have to search around for anything. You're just like, oh, it's going to be here. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know, then sort of search for sort of DIR, because that's been like tried and tested in like the most horrendous sort of conditions possible. So yeah, it works. And it's effective. There's nothing particularly wrong with the standard like recreational setup. I just find that it can be improved to make it a bit safer, a bit more redundancy.
No worries.
But yeah.
Well, if you're not sure what DIR is, that's going to be one of the questions from one of our people.
Okay, someone's actually asked.
They have.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we'll get back to that in a minute.
We will return.
Should we bust into the ad?
Yeah, I think so.
Why
I think
not?
that's it for the topic. There's so much about different setups. So
Yeah,
just
really
do
go
your
down the rabbit
research.
hole,
Just have a chat with your buddies and sort of online forums, instructors as well. Just kind of decide where you want to go. And then you can be sort of better informed after you do some research.
What's best for you?
Yeah, I mean, I started off. I bought this sort of Wingstar recreational BCD, and I thought, oh yeah, that looks fine. And then sort of eventually I outgrew it and said, oh no, I need something different. And then I did this, and then I bought these regs, and oh no, those are kind of holding me back. So actually, kind of take your time, do some research, kind of think about where you are going to end up with your scuba diving, and then invest in your own kit. There's no point in sort of rushing into it. Owning your own dive equipment means that you need to look after it and maintain it as well. Finding a great dive centre that can service all of your equipment nearby can also be tricky, but with Obsequio servicing, you don't need to travel much farther than your keyboard. Obsequio can service regulators, dive computers, cylinders, and even rebreathers. Unlike other dive centres, Obsequio collects your gear from you, services it, and brings it back to you, and they post their current turnaround times at the top of their website every day so that you know how long it should take. To check them out and to get your gear serviced, just click on the link pinned in the comments below.
Great service, isn't
it? Yeah, it's really like the modern man's service centre. Instead of having to, literally find a service centre and, you don't have a technician that services my brand. Oh, okay. You then have to sort of traipse around and find someone. No, you just go on the website. You just sort of click add to basket. They email you a free post label. You box it up. Someone comes and collects it. A couple of weeks later, it comes back serviced. So it's very, very civilized. Obviously, this is the season to sort of get your stuff serviced. So you might have slightly longer service times, but hey,
get it done.
You need to get it done, and there's no point leaving it until the last minute because I'm going on holiday. It's like, well,
it's a 3-week turnaround.
Yeah, do it earlier than too late. Obsequio. I'll spell it out for you so it's a little bit easier. So it's OBSEQUIO, Obsequio. It means something in Latin. I can't remember what it was. I looked it up once.
It means regulator service in Latin.
Yeah, they're very ahead of their times. But they're very convenient. I think they're only in the UK though, so if you're listening to this abroad, I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but maybe it's a gap in the market. If you know how to do it, then start your own business. Okay, so onto your comments. Obviously, if you have any questions, comments, queries, or corrections, then head over to the YouTube channel and sort of write your information, your comment down in any of the sort of comment sections, and then we'll address it next week. Because Shaun is always sort of going through all of your comments. The first one comes from Dan Bonehill on the video "Why You Need Dive Insurance." So Dan asks, any suggestions on anywhere to insure your kit for road holidays or even just general home use? I have Dan insurance to cover me for medical, but it would be good to get my kit insured in some way. I don't think my Dan insurance covers my equipment neither.
No.
I don't know if they do.
I don't think they do. I think it's just yourself.
They're super focused on sort of diving medical sort of aid. So maybe they don't do any kind of gear. I don't know. They might have a policy for that. I mean, I've used Divemaster insurance before. They're actually one of our sponsors, not this week's sponsor, but I've used them before. And they're pretty simple. You sort of go through everything. I don't know if they do a equipment specific one, but yeah, I mean, have a look at Divemaster Insurance because they do sort of either single trip or multi trip or annual trip and whatnot. Where they do cover sort of equipment as well.
I've needed Dan insurance at some point when I've had an injury, quite a serious one, and. I can't speak highly enough of them. They were so good.
It's no quibbles with Dan. I mean, you look at it and it's just on others it's like you're limited to depth. With Dan, it's just like
get it done.
Whatever. As long as it's not over like 130 meters.
Yes.
Then they don't even care. They just want to get you fixed, and because they're dive specialists, they know exactly what they're talking about. They know exactly where to take you to, and it's very sort of clean and simple.
Yes.
When I was teaching, I always used to use Dan, and that would actually cover my students as well, which is quite nice. But no, I don't think they do equipment.
I don't think they do. No. You'd probably be looking at some insurance company, wouldn't you? For sports equipment.
Yeah, There must be some out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that I can comment on is Divemaster Insurance because I've used them in the past, but I don't know. Let us know in the comments below if you've got any sort of recommendations for Dan. Sort of who do you use when you're sort of insuring your dive equipment? Because, yeah, it's expensive. If your bag doesn't come round on the carousel.
Yeah, could you imagine? Right, so the next one is from 999 Racing, and this is from the video 5 of our best fins. So I can't decide between the Mares Quattro or the Apex RK3 for my first pair of fins. What should I get?
I know.
I know what Mark's answer is.
I know which one my one is.
What would you get, Mark?
I would get the Apex RK3.
What fins have you currently got, Mark?
Apex RK3s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of instructors like the Quattro Plus.
Yeah.
They are a solid pair of fins.
Very popular.
Very, very popular. Now they actually come with sort of bungee heel straps. But personally, I love myself a pair of vented fins. Just a short, single piece of like this monoprene, like rubbery type material. They're tough as nails. Yeah, I love my RK3s, and now they're coming in more colours. I bought the like first iteration when it was just like black,
black and grey.
Yeah, now they come in all sorts of different colours, but yeah, personally, RK3s. There's not saying that there's anything wrong with the Quattros. I just think that the RK3s are better.
Yeah,
they're just bulletproof.
Yeah.
Eddie Guy VH on, was that last week's Deco Stop? One of the Deco Stops where we were talking about dive computers. So Eddie Guy asks, what are your thoughts on the Heinrich Y-Camp computers? Their OSTC models actually feature the same algorithm used in Shearwater. They're made in Germany and quite well.
They're made in Germany. Of course, they make quite well.
And quite well. They cost considerably less than a Perdix, making them attractive to me looking for a colour screen dive computer that can bear multiple gases and trimix later. I've seen one of the OSTCs. I haven't played with it, so I can't comment too much on them. It's kind of horses for courses. It's doing the same thing. I mean, lots of dive computers use that... it's a Bielman ZHL 16C algorithm. I think because on Shearwater you can change the gradient factors. I imagine you can on the Heinrich as well. I'm sure they're fine. I can't comment too much. I've never used one in the water.
If anyone there wants to send us one, we'll check it out for you.
Yeah, that's it. If Heinrich Y-Camp are listening and they've got some samples, then send it over, and I will literally do a head-to-head where I get a Perdix or a Petrol and sort of put them through their paces. I think one main difference that does stand out is that Heinrichs are rechargeable batteries. So they're like factory sealed. I think you charge it like an iPhone or something where it's like wireless charging.
Right.
As opposed to the Perdix where it's just a AA battery. So that's like a benefit.
That wireless charging is becoming quite popular with quite a few different things.
It makes sense on dive computers because you never have to worry about the O-rings from sort of wearing out through age and was there a hair or a piece of grit sort of ruining the seal. So, we'd love to help, but I've not used one myself. I don't know. I mean, it's Germany versus Canada at this point.
Country versus country.
Yeah. What else? Neomaster C. Cracked computer killed scuba diver. Is there any way to attach a backup computer to his CCR? And I guess CCRs can fail non-catastrophically, but silent instead. So this was the tragic story of a scuba diver who's diving off the sort of Cornwall, I think it was the south coast of the UK, and they discovered that a crack in his dive computer sort of failed. And there was water ingress, and because it was integrated into his closed circuit rebreather, he died. So is there any way to attach a backup computer to his CCR? I don't know what unit he was diving on, so I don't know. you can of course replace them. They're usually like, you can either get standalone or sort of unit specific sort of dive computers, but you can sort of disconnect them and sort of fit a replacement sort of model. If you have a backup, just a sort of an independent redundant computer, that will tell you your sort of decompression and whatnot, but it won't be able to sort of tell you. I don't think they'll connect to the O2 sensors or anything. So no. Yeah. I guess closed circuit rebreathers fail non-catastrophically. They can. They definitely can, and they are silent as well. A lot of people call them silent killers, because when open circuit, when like normal traditional scuba equipment goes wrong, it's all like high pressure, so it makes a lot of noise and a lot of bubbles.
Yeah.
On a rebreather, if one of your sensor like fails, then your CO2 like gradually rises, or your O2 gradually rises or something. And yeah, the only way you find out is because your vision goes all funny, or something goes wrong. You get an O2 hit or something. But yeah. You really need to be switched on when you're diving on sort of rebreathers. Yeah. And you do need to sort of look after it as well. But it's tragic. But of course we just need to use it as a learning experience, just to there is a bit of a crack in my dive computer. Maybe I'll skip this dive just in case. Get it pressure tested and all that kind of stuff instead of going on a dive.
Yeah. Right, so this next one's from Ham Shackleton.
Oh, this is
thanks for sticking with us, Ham. We'll get there. So this is from the video X Deep NX Standard Harness Product Review. What is DIR? Never heard of that.
So DIR is what is it? Doing it right or diving it right? And it's basically, it was like a concept that I think started back in like the YKKP project, and it started off by like cave explorers who were they were diving in these cave systems, and they were thinking of better and safer equipment configurations, and they eventually came up with like the Hogarthian way as well. You see a lot of hog type setups, and that's from what's his first name? Is it Bill? I want to say William Hogarth, and yeah, they came up with a certain way of setting up your equipment so it can be universal against through your entire group. So your whole team is diving on the same thing. It doesn't have any extra flashy bits that can fail. It's sort of minimum failure points, and it's just effective in sort of all, or in the most diving sort of categories possible. So in DIR setups, you'll see a single piece of 2-inch webbing. We often call that a DIR sort of harness setup, where there's no failure points, there's no break points. It's just a single piece of 2-inch webbing, and that's both your waistband and your shoulder straps. It's a single piece. It's very customizable, so you can adjust it to your exact shape, and then you can move the D-rings around. You usually only have two sort of D-rings, one on each shoulder, one on the hip, and then sort of two on your crotch strap. And your regulators is kind of what I was sort of talking about earlier. You're a really long hose primary donate setup. But yeah, if you're interested, then search online for DIR diving or sort of GUE, Global Underwater Explorers, and just kind of like learn about different sort of regulator and BCD setups that are a bit more DIR. It's just more of a safer, more effective way at diving with less clutter and less failure points as well.
Okay. All right, so the next one seems to be more of a statement than a question. From Nick Beffort. This is from the video X Deep NX Standard Harness Product Review. And then, is this a correction? The waist strap actually goes on the outside of the shoulder straps. That way your shoulder straps can be a little looser and it's easier to get into your rig. When you tighten down the waistband, it automatically tightens the shoulder straps as well.
Could be. As I said earlier, when I'm doing product reviews, I usually just get this thing like thrown in front of me and I just like hit record. So yeah, with the NX, with the X Deep sort of NX range, they have a they're very different. They, with sort of DIR type setups, they're very like standard, where the manufacturers have made this shape of backplate for donkey's years, and they just like make the same thing again and again. But with X Deep, they turn everything on its head and they make everything different.
Yeah.
So with X Deep, their waistbands are usually a lot higher. And I think in this video, I'd probably sort of say, oh, well, no, this should go on the sort of inside instead of the outside or whatever.
Oh, right.
Because the shoulder straps go all the way down to like the bottom of the back plate, and then it lifts back up and becomes the waistband.
Right.
So yeah, I suppose it makes sense so that you could have a bit more room, because that's what a lot of people complain about. Sort of single piece harnesses is that there's no adjustment. You can't lengthen that strap off to get it on.
Right.
So getting in and out of a DIR harness is kind of ridiculous. You have to do this weird yoga pose to get in and out of the harness. But yeah, that kind of makes sense. And yeah, that probably is correction.
Okay.
Yeah. Well done, Nick. Good spot.
Cheers.
Boston McKibben on 30,000 beads lifted after Gasparilla. Please get more fin clips.
Now.
Okay, nothing to do with that video. The video. I mean, Gasparilla is it's like a Florida. I think, is it Florida? Yeah, it must be Florida. It's Tampa Bay. It's a Florida pirate festival, and they have like pirate ships like going down, but of course they throw those like plastic beads to one another, and of course they end up in the river.
My girlfriend would hate this. She's got a fear of rigging and sails. I'm not kidding. I only found this out when we walked past the Cutty Sark. Yeah. Oh, horrible. Ruined.
That's a very niche phobia.
It was, wasn't it?
I
Do you know what I mean? It's not
there
like
must be a
snakes or
name for that.
spiders. Rigging. I was
Rigging.
like, okay.
All right. Yeah, lots of bits of
Yeah.
rope. All right. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry,
So
Julie.
please get more fin clips. My friend has them, loves them. I would love to get a pair. So yeah, fin clips. They were a Kickstarter just a few years ago, and they looked at snowboarding sort of feet bindings, where you kind of like put your toe in and then push down, and it like locks your foot in. And yeah, we stocked these for a little bit, and they sold quite well. But it's still kind of early days for them, because if your feet are over a certain size, or if
Yeah.
you've got dry suit boots, then they weren't sort of man enough, and lots of kind of moving parts as well. So yeah, we might get more in at some stage. It's a clever invention. For me, it's lots of moving parts, but yeah, we'll take a look at them.
Yeah.
I imagine when they bring out their next generation, we'll probably start to invest in them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, I think we've run out of stock. I actually have a handwritten one because Shaun left a blank space for me to write.
Yeah, I've just got the blank space.
Yeah. So this is from Scallywag 15 on the Analox O2EII Pro Nitrox Analyzer. And he's very humble. He's a humble scallywag. Newbie question. Can this be used to test the air in my tank? To test the air in my tank is okay. Just air, no nitrox or gas mix. Just that my air is safe to breathe. So it's on a nitrox analyzer, which you usually get on most sort of dive boats, but the short answer is no. All a nitrox analyzer will do is it just has a oxygen sensor in it, and as you run your nitrox mix sort of over it, it tells you what percentage oxygen is in that gas. It's not going to tell you if there's any contaminants or anything sort of nasty like sort of exhaust fumes or any grease or whatever.
Dead frog.
Any gin and tonic. No, it's not going to tell you if there's anything other than oxygen in that gas mix. I don't know if there is anything. I mean, you get disposable kits for testing compressors, but I don't think anyone makes a handheld analyzer that sort of tells you if there's anything in your gas mix.
Yeah.
Not.
I don't think there is.
No, I've never seen one.
Have a smell.
Yeah, you can usually smell if there's sort of certain things. Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's just get your air from a reputable dive centre. I mean, I had another chap, it's either this week or the week before, and he was asking for a bicycle pump to pump up his pony tank.
Okay.
That doesn't exist.
No.
You'd struggle to get over like 100 bar. It takes a lot of pressure to force air up to like 200 bar.
Yeah.
But also a lot of bicycle pumps, they just have sort of grease in the chamber. So you're just going to get this horrible air mix on the inside, which is just going to give you the worst headache or worse.
Yeah.
So no, when you're getting your airfill, make sure it's a decent place. If you can, have a look at their compressor, see where the exhaust is. The exhaust should actually go a long way away from the compressor, or vice versa. The inlet tank, the inlet should have a hose that goes out. So it's bringing in nice fresh air, it's filtering it, and then pumping that into your tank. But no, I don't think there is a sensor that I'm aware of. If anyone does know of one, then put it down in the comments below. But no, I don't think there is a device that goes, oh, no, unsafe.
Egg.
Don't breathe this. But no, it's a pretty sensible question. And that was it. They were all the questions that I could find.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the outro?
Why not? So many thanks to Obsequio. Our next episode of the deep dive is going to be the humble bolt snap.
Yeah, it is.
Now,
I love bolt snaps.
You're not going to be here for this one, are you?
No, I've already recorded that one.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. I bet that will have something about X Deep in it.
No, I
Really?
don't mention them. No.
Oh.
I think when I originally wrote this blog, I don't think X Deep had come out with their NX range of bolt snaps.
Oh.
But I can always write another blog, and Shaun can edit it for me.
Loves a bolt snap. Right. So if you're listening, the next couple of Deco stops will be presented by me and Shaun.
Because I'm on holiday.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Australia. It's my sister's wedding.
Nice.
And she emigrated to Australia a few years ago, and we've never actually managed to find out when to go visit. And this Christmas time she was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm engaged. So, all right, time to sort of book a holiday.
Nice.
So we're going. Myself and my fiance, we're going out to Australia.
Lovely.
For a few weeks, and I'll be back in April.
Lucky you. Right, so if you're listening on this podcast on Spotify, then why not follow us? The same goes for Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, and Radio Public. Lots of people are listening but not following. Naughty people.
How dare you?
I know. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Keep up to date with all things scuba. If you're in the Kent area, pop into our Faversham store, say hello, and of course, buy something.
Yeah, let's be brutally honest. Yeah, that's how we survive.
That's
people
it.
buying equipment.
Yeah.
Of course, any questions, comments, queries, corrections, again, pop them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in a few weeks' time.
Have a lovely holiday.
Yeah, thank you for thank you. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on as a podcast, thank you for watching. If you're watching on the YouTube, let us know if you enjoy seeing us. We got a lot of people commenting saying, oh, I don't like the fact that I can't see you anymore. Oh, thank you.
For what purpose?
Yeah. I mean, the main reason is that we're a little ashamed of our little audio den that we built.
It's our booth and we love it.
Yeah, it's it works. Occasionally they unlock the doors and let us out, but yeah, we got a decent light source in. It used to be a lot darker in here. Without that,
see the paper now.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and of course, safe diving.
See you later, guys.
The Deco Stop podcast is produced and recorded by Simply Scuba, the UK's #1 dive store. Visit today at simplyscuba.com.
Maths and tables and all that kind of stuff. So all you have to do is look at the screen on your wrist and just go, oh, okay, well, I can stay here for 10 more minutes. And yeah, if you ascend, it's like, oh no, you need to stop here and do a safety stop. Oh, okay, I'll do a stop here, and it counts you down.